Almost came down in the middle of this food. Almost forgot to freaking record it, you know? So let's just break down the numbers first, and then we can describe a little bit more detail. So, just when I got up with cooking the eggs, I grabbed 2 slices of American cheese, just as a fucking snack. 8 grams of protein in, 8 of fat, 4 carbs. So 50 grams of protein worth of eggs, about 3 grams of fat when I added the olive oil, about 12 grams of carbs worth of low sugar or no sugar added Sweet Baby Ray's, and then some of the Silo 9 for a little bit of hydration because I just woke up dehydrated. So, and then I also added a little bit of the clustered dextrin, so now that's at about 12 grams of carbs. And then 2 cups of the Carb Master low calorie chocolate milk, so that's going to add up to about 14 grams of carbs. No, wait. Yeah, exactly. 14 grams of carbs and 11 grams of protein. So, all in all, breakfast, 70 grams of protein, 11 of fat, 42 of carbs. That's about right. I don't want to just slam a bunch of carbs right when I wake up. I'm not a massive, it's not like I'm planning the meals out incredibly specifically, but I do want to have my carbs closer to the workout. I wouldn't want to just eat like 2 bagels, 100 grams of carbs, just to kind of, in a sense, burn it off when I do the cardio. And I don't mean like burning off like as soon as I eat it, it'll just fucking disappear into nothing from the cardio. I'm saying I'll kind of feel nice and full from having that many carbs in my system. And I want to feel like that when I'm actually doing my weight training. The cardio, it's whatever. I don't need it. I mean, honestly, sometimes I'll just do the cardio fasted just because, and then I can start eating later in the day. But I definitely want to start off with a little bit of protein. I mean, I just went all night without eating anything. So, coupled with this, my little cup full of all my freaking vitamins. That's pretty much all there is to it. So again, this one will look... This whole day will look incredibly different than the last one. Purely because I'm trying to eat less calories. If I'm trying to eat a lot of calories, then I want to eat calorie-dense foods like big ass bowls of whatever, sweets, everything. Because I'm trying to change the scale. And now, the same thing is true. I am trying to change the scale, but in the opposite fashion. So I'm trying to eat less food, and of course, eating less food, you're going to be freaking hungry, right? So I want to try to eat foods that make me feel full, like make me feel satiated. They fill up my hunger bar, and not go over that 2,500 calorie limit. But I'm not concerned with the source of the calories. Like just yesterday, I had 2 spicy chicken sandwiches from Wendy's as the meal, like 3 hours, or no, like 2.5 hours before the workout. And I was talking to my one friend, and he was like, "Oh, you're already having cheat meals?" But I don't see it as a cheat meal. It's not like, how am I cheating? At the end of the day, I still had my 2,500 calories. That's the amount of calories I'm trying to eat so I can lose body fat. And I was in my, relative macro arrangement. Like I'm trying to get to 250 grams of protein, 50 grams of fat, and about 250, maybe I'll bounce around 250 and 300 grams of carbs. But as long as at the end of the day, you can hit the calories that you find is your calorie deficit level, like you're going to have to figure this out. It's kind of complicated. It's not very fun. I'll talk about it in a second. But if you can find out what your maintenance calories is, right, the amount of food you have to eat every day to just stay the same weight, then guess what? Drop it down from 500 calories from that, and you actually stay at that level, then you're going to start to see the scale change. Now, you can go online and look up like a maintenance calorie calculator, which you'll plug in your weight, your height, your energy level, stuff like that. And it'll pump out a number like, oh, your maintenance calories as a 5'11", 180-pound 18-year-old is this. But that's not totally accurate. That doesn't account for everything going on in your body. But that can be a good a good starting point. But really, the best way to figure it out is just by taking like 2 weeks, eating as much food as you're hungry for, and weighing yourself every day. But I'm not just saying eat all your food, you have to track it as well. Because let's say you've been the same weight for 2 weeks straight. If you tracked all the food that you ate over those 2 weeks, and if you were the same weight at the beginning and the same weight at the end, then if you average out that amount of calories, that's your maintenance. But of course, that's no fun because then you have to weigh yourself every morning and track all your calories. I was just telling somebody at the gym who was talking about how he wanted to bulk up, and he said, "Well, I'm hitting my protein, my gram of protein per day, and then I'm just kind of eating whatever." And I was like, "All right, well, that's all fine and good, but if you actually want to gain weight, you've got to start tracking the macros and making sure that you're eating consistently at a level that's above your maintenance calories. It's not that's all there is to it. Whenever I plateau in a bulk, it's just because I'm not eating enough food, and then vice versa. If I'm not losing weight, it's because I'm eating too much food. I'm inclined to believe my scale was kind of wonky these last couple of days because it was like 238 at the heaviest day. And that was coupled with raising the calories for a few days. But then this morning was 233, which I think is closer to about what I'm looking for. So by the end of this, and maybe a month and a half ish, I'll probably be maybe 230, maybe upper 220s. And then, I mean, I'm already starting to feel hungry. I'm, I'm already itching to start the bulk again. But I kind of need this time as the resensitization period. Plus, who doesn't want to get lean once in a while? So I'm going to go do my cardio after I finish all this. And then I got to drive to the grocery store. I'm not going to do a recording myself in the grocery at Kroger with the cart with the camera in the cart. That's kind of fucked. But I'll just go over some shit that I bought because I was home for the weekend and all my meats are bad and I ran out of all my keto bread. So I think we're 543 calories in one meal. That sounds about right. So I'm gonna go do my cardio and then we can skip to what do you think? What do you think? Should I do the post cardio pose down? Or should we just skip to the next meal plus the food I got at the grocery store? You decide. And then in 3 seconds, you'll see if you're right. Okay, so after 30 minutes, it would seem I have a pretty solid sweat going. The machine, the cardio machine, said that I burned about 300 calories, which, I mean, whether or not that's right across all different bike machines, it's close enough. I mean, I get sweaty at the same time, and I get the same amount of sort of like perceived, what's the word, fatigue. So, I mean, whatever. And there's nothing special about the seated bike. You guys are always talking smack on it. It's like, just go for a run outside, man. Well, I don't want to. The seated bike's perfect for me. I want to play on my phone. I did like 20 minutes of Clash Royale, 10 minutes of TikTok, and then it was over. So let's see what we're working with in this reasonably natural lighting. And then cut to the kitchen with whatever I get at Kroger in a minute. Okay. So this is relatively flat stomach from not having a bunch of food in it. I do have the breakfast in it, but I mean, come on, it's not that much food. Definitely not that much food, like in terms of its volume. All it was is a couple eggs and fucking, a little bit of chocolate milk. So let's run through a couple and then get out of here. Whew. Okay. What else is there? Side chest? That's a freaky one. I will say, vacuums get substantially easier when I'm cutting down, just because I don't have so much food in my stomach. Apart from just my organs and shit, I can suck all this stuff in. Let's get one more vacuum and then get out of here. Okay. Best practice for if you do your cardio, bring a new shirt. Because if you did your cardio right, that first shirt should be drenched. So let's get out of here. This is a lot of shit. I mean, this could have been a whole video in and of itself, just the grocery haul. So I won't get into. Well, I won't really. Blah, blah, blah. I won't really get into any details, but fucking, what is this? A pound of top round, pound of flank, lean meats. I definitely prefer the steaks over the ground beef. I don't know, you're just kind of actually eating something. This will come into play later on tonight. Powdered peanut butter, just a little bit of a teaser for that meal. Put some of this shit away. Fucking back to the Carb Master chocolate milk. Only 80 calories per cup instead of the normal, like almost 300. So I can still get my fix. Some bottled egg whites. I mean, it's just way easier. And I'm reasonably certain it's more cost effective to buy the egg whites on their own rather than get whole eggs, crack them, and then do those whites. I mean, I feel like I prefer the egg whites when they're straight out of the egg. But at the end of the day, it's the same macros. It's the same shit. Some carb smart hamburger buns. So let's think about this. What's the typical amount of carbs in a hamburger bun, would you say? If you know. Maybe 40? 30? Here we're looking at 3 with just a ton of dietary fiber making it up instead. So going for the low calorie options, if you can kind of, what's the word I'm trying to say? Like integrate the low calorie shit, the 0 calorie stuff into your day. I mean, even if you didn't change the way you eat and you just ate the same thing but the low calorie version, it'll start to fucking add up. So again, sugar-free syrup. This will come into play with that powdered peanut butter, if you can begin to imagine. And then I was just kind of thirsty. I got some Propels. The sucralose, I don't know. I hear worse things about sucralose than I do about aspartame, but I'm not insanely concerned. Where'd the rest of my tuna go? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Like 6 packs of these little individually separated, or not individual, what am I saying? Well, 6 packs of these flavored tuna. So, honey barbecue, that's my go-to. 15 grams of protein, 4 grams of carbs. Throw 2 of those on one of those low-cal buns. That's a badass tuna sandwich. And then, a bunch of deli ham. 98% fat-free. I think you're starting to notice a pattern, right? Everything kind of has a caveat. It's, we're getting into some shit about Zizek. It's like you want something, but you don't want its essence. That's an obscure reference. Don't worry about it. Some things, a 0 calorie lemonade. It's fucking just anything you can fucking replace with the 0 calorie version. I'd say that is the bread and butter of the technique of staying under your calorie maintenance level and staying in a deficit. So I don't want to spoil meal 1. You're looking at it right here. Or no. Meal two. So I'm going to put all this shit away and then we can get into what I'm going to eat. Probably not exactly what you were expecting. I guess I kind of hinted at it. I got the low-cal buns with a pack of tuna on each one. And then I got a little thing of just like salmon sushi with no rice on it from Kroger. And I'm not thinking to myself, okay, I want to eat about 3 ounces of salmon because the omega-3s are going to be good. I'm just thinking, I think that's going to taste good, right? You can eat what you want, but you've got to be careful about it. You know, like it's not like I couldn't, go to fucking Wendy's and get another spicy chicken sandwich, but I got to be able to accept the fact that that's 500 calories all at once. And it honestly might not make me feel that full for that long. Eating in terms of maintaining a baseline level of let's just say satiation, right? Like being full. I would not want to start off the day with like 100 grams of carbs worth of like, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Because then I'm going to have a big blood sugar spike. And once it crashes, I'm going to be hungry again. I'm not concerned with that on a bulk. I'm trying to eat a ton of food. But if I'm cutting down, I don't want to have too many crazy like blood sugar fluctuations from eating like a bunch of sweets at once. So that's why most of the carbs I'm eating are a little bit more, complex, like from the breads. And even then, I'm hardly getting any from the breads. So I've only got 840 calories down so far after I eat both of these. So 56 grams of carbs. I'll definitely want to eat one more time before I go train. Maybe have a little bit of a carb heavier meal. Because, I'm not so concerned with it. When I'm bulking up, I want to have like 400, 500 grams of carbs in me from, the whole day before the lift even starts. But since I've only got like 250, 300 to play with for the diet, I'm not just going to slam all 300 before training. I still got to eat some later on. So the timing isn't so crazy important in the sense of like having a ton of food beforehand. Really what I'm focusing on is having an even spread of my food throughout the day. Because if you eat a ton of your fucking let's say you do the macro tracker, you do have a plan, you know your calorie limit if you want to lose fat. If you bust through half of it before noon, you're probably not going to have that much fun for the rest of the day. Because then you got to be pretty careful. So I guess I'm kind of lying. I don't really spread it out super, like super evenly. I probably am a little bit more sparse in the morning. And then I'd say I eat most of my food around, noon onward. Because the last thing you want to do is go to bed hungry. Because then you're just asking for it to go downstairs and just scarf down something. And it's fucking hard to just take one scoop of ice cream. I've said this before. This is a classic dieting situation. You go down to the freezer, you're looking at the thing of vanilla ice cream. Okay, I'll just have one scoop, and I'll even weigh it. I'll enter the macros. It's okay. Come on. You want to prevent that situation from even starting. But I'm going to eat this. I got to edit the video for what would be for you yesterday. And then we can cut to the next meal. And that'll probably be the last one I eat before I go hit back. What the heck am I saying? Before I go hit arms. There we go. I've seen the kitchen be messier than this. We don't need to make a note of it. But this is a secret. This is a little secret. I haven't seen this before, but I'll like you enough, I'll tell you. I like you enough, I'll tell you about it. So basically, 3 of the little low carb buns. I'm not going to try to do the math right now. I'll do it before I go sit down and eat it. So 3 of these buns. This is a powdered peanut butter. So, 1 tablespoon, like 1 little scoop of peanut butter, like you'd spread on a sandwich. It's got like 16 grams of fat, dude. That is not nothing. That is a considerable amount of calories. 16, that makes what? Nearly 150? 150 grams of 150 grams of calories. 150 calories right there with just 1 little scoop of peanut butter? Not ideal. Not very efficient. That's completely against the logic of my style of dieting, which is trying to eat foods that are not calorie dense. So this powdered PB Fit, this is a fucking go-to. So this is the quarter cup, so the equivalent of 4 tablespoons. So that's 2. So I'll do 3 servings of, or is it 3 or? Yeah, I'll do 3 servings of this. I left my food scale at home when I went home for the weekend, so I've got to do the next best thing, which is measuring it out, by volume, which really is not. Actually, I'll do 4 servings, which is really not that. It's not as accurate, and also it's just more of a hassle because you got to think now. I need to find my specific measuring cup and like kind of balance it out so it's even. I mean, just no fun. Whereas if you have a scale, and you can see how much weight a serving is, you kind of just pour out however much you want. But so that's 4 servings of the powdered peanut butter. And you're supposed to reconstitute it, right? Of course, it's powdered, but I'm not going to use water. I'll put some of this sugar-free syrup on there. And just because it says sugar-free does not mean that there's no calories. You gotta read into the nutrition label a little bit closely. So 30 milliliters, so 2 servings of this. It's going to be the equivalent of 10 calories. So I'll just plug that in as 2.5 grams of carbs. I'm not kidding when I say you got to pretty much be OCD with this sort of stuff. Because if you let a lot of it just get, lost, then you're not going to be able to freaking make progress. At least not consistently, of course. You got to know exactly how much stuff is going into your body and then be able to see how that relates to your weight changing. So let's mix this up. And I think that should be just about enough for this to turn into kind of a normal consistency. But I guess I've got to look at the calories again. It's been a while since I've, mixed some of this up. But this will just turn into some, keto bread powdered peanut butter sandwiches. And so the only reason why I think to add that low sugar syrup is because the peanut butter itself, the powdered peanut butter, it's really not that sweet. Like it's kind of, I don't want to say bitter, but when you mix it up with water, it's a little bit chalky. So, I've kind of got a bit of a sweet tooth, right? As has been shown by the bulk videos. So if I can have a little sweeter version, then that's perfect. So I'll just spread some of this onto here like so. And then I'll count it's going to take me a second to add up all the macros, but we can go discuss some other topic while I sit here and chow down on these. I guess all I'm really missing now is some fucking 0 sugar jam or something. I'm sure that's around. I was thinking this to myself. For the next bulk, I need to get some Uncrustables in the freezer. Just because those are so easy to eat. And what's one Uncrustable? It's got to be at least 200 something calories. I could just bring that with me to class or wherever else. And I mean, foods that you can eat easily on a bulk are probably the ones that you're going to want to prioritize. So don't let this get dry either. If you let this sit and get dry, you're going to have a problem trying to clean it out. So I'm not going to clean it now, but I'm going to let it soak. So let's go sit down and see how these taste. All right, so I just added everything up. Immediately after I eat anything, or even if I'm planning to eat something, I'm going to preemptively put it into the fucking stupid simple macro tracker. I'm probably going to say the name of the app about 1 billion more times. Hopefully you'll listen. But these all together were this whole plate. Give me your estimation. How many calories for 3 peanut butter sandwiches? Would you guess? It's a good guess. 310 calories, 30 grams of protein, 10 grams of fat, and 25 grams of carbs. Sweet. So now I just get to sit here and enjoy. With the bread itself, since it's made of like it's got to be made out of something, right? It's primarily dietary fiber, insoluble dietary fiber. So I'll admit it doesn't taste as good. It's like normal bread. If I were to get a legit, like, maybe get fancy with it, get a brioche bun and put some real peanut butter on it. Well, actually, this peanut butter is pretty comparable, honestly. The peanut butter part's good. But the bread, all the keto bread, or if you get like keto tortillas or, keto sliced bread, keto bagels, it's not as good as the real thing, but it's pretty good. So yeah, this should be a lot more, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Hmm. Yeah, this would be a lot less sweet if it wasn't for the 0-calorie syrup. I don't know where I came up with that, but that is the best. Huh. I mean, sometimes I won't even put it on like the keto stuff itself. I'll just have that bowl of it, and I'll like scoop it up with some, keto tortillas, or you can do celery, whatever. I mean, think about this. These three little sandwiches is the equivalent calories of one single cheeseburger from McDonald's. And I know for a fact these are going to make me feel much more full. So, again, prioritizing volume over density. This is the way to do it. So I think I'm going to go to the rec center for arms tonight. I'm not insane. Well, I guess I am kind of picky with what gym I go to. That's why I go to so many. But with arms especially, really all I need is like cables and dumbbells. Pretty much any gym has that. I mean, Planet Fitness is perfect for arms. Cables for push downs, and then dumbbells for curls. And they've got a couple of good preacher machines too. I have a little bit of an on-off relationship with that one tricep extension where it looks like a preacher, but then you push like this. And that's the only one I'm a little finicky about. But, if you've got access to basic stuff, you can go fucking hard. I mean, I've had crazy chest days and crazy back days in the basement gym. I guess you got a glimpse of that in the last video. And I mean, all I was doing was like incline barbell bench, and then some, dumbbell flies with the dumbbells I have, and like hex press, stuff like that. If you want to have a good workout, you can do it without relying on really specialty equipment. I guess I'm a little bit hypocritical about that because I'm always complaining that I want to use like a really fancy overhead tricep machine to get a lot more stretch on the long head. But, you know, you can make do. I've said this before. A good craftsman doesn't blame his tools. So, I'm going to sit here on TikTok for a few minutes, finish this off, and then I'd say in maybe, this isn't a big meal. I don't mind eating pretty close to the lift. I would, like, if I'm bulking, I would not want to eat like a full bulked meal and then lifts like right then. I want to wait probably at least an hour for everything to settle. But when I'm cutting down, since I'm not eating so much food, my stomach really doesn't get upset. So I'm thinking maybe 30 minutes-ish, get the pre set up, and then we can go hit arms. Oh. All right, so let's mix up the pre. So watermelon candy bloodshot. I won't lie, I feel like I was approaching the danger zone when I cut this little water bottle into a makeshift funnel, but I don't know what I did with the one I like. So this will work. Well, it'll work perfectly. Honestly, I almost like this one more than the dedicated one I had before. This one actually seems to have a wider mouth. But one serving of the stem-free bloodshot. But of course, I'm not a stem-free guy, so where's the... Ah, fuck. The watermelon candy blood hostilities at home. So watermelon and grape. It's both fruity. Good mix. So I mean, let's be real. If they're both fruit flavored, how weird can it be? So, looks like there we have the pre-mixed stuff. I kind of want to, like, there's still powder in here. Maybe I'm just being OCD, but I kind of want to get it all actually in. I'm sure, the little bits that didn't actually make it won't change much. But why leave it up to chance? So the intro workout drink in the jug is just this zero sugar lemonade. Really, I just kind of want something sweet to drink with no calories. So that's perfect. It gives me a pre-jug and my intra jug. So I will prepare a little bit of something for the post-workout shake. Obviously not as big as my, bulking post-workout shake. The one with the cluster dextrin and the cluster dextrin and the pre-post workout and a bulk. I mean, that's a 600 calorie shake just slammed instantly. Not even like as the post workout meal. Like I go home and eat something too. But on the cut, I still, post workout, I still want some easily digestible carbs, and I still want some, protein powder with some digestive enzymes. I mean, it really couldn't hurt you. But I also pack some food too. We'll get into that a little later. So I'm not going to count these macros right now. I'll talk about it when I actually, eat it after the lift. Fine, I'll just whatever. So that I'll bring it up again, but that's 25 grams of the cluster dextrin, so the equivalent of 25 grams of carbs, and then 1 scoop of the cookies and cream ISO H1. Very nice. I better add some ice into this too. I always regret not adding ice. The jug is cold because this was in the fridge before, so it's good. But a shake with ice. I don't want to say the word. I don't want to be crazy and say game changer, but at the same time, I sort of do. Ooh, it's actually pretty good. I wish I had a blender right now, or not a blender. What am I thinking of? Like a NutriBullet. Because you can do, with 2 scoops of protein in there, whatever, with the water. I've never really been a big fan of mixing it with milk. But if you throw that with a bunch of ice into a NutriBullet and blend it up into more of like it just kind of ends up being like a smoothie. It's much better. That's what I got to get. By the time I do another full day of eating, we'll have a little NutriBullet in here. Oh, that reminds me of a little dieting hack too. I'm not going to get into it today, but I'll save that for later. So there we go. Yeah, let's line them up. Post-workout, intra-workout, pre-workout. So let's slam this and then get in the car and get over there. Talk about what we plan to do for arms. All right, the mics are on, the camera's on. In terms of the gym, it's on. Let's go get arms done. I'm going to take a little bit of a roundabout way to get there because the gym is literally 2 blocks away from my house. So no point to have like a 30-second car talk. But basic plan for arms is triceps first and then biceps. Now to get a little bit more detailed, I think triceps is going to be a lot of push downs. Maybe some skull crushers, light. Actually, no, fuck it. No skull crushers. Unless I feel like it. Kind of a contradictory statement there, but whatever. So, but yeah, probably mainly push downs and maybe some lighter single arm extensions where you just like grab onto the handle itself, like that little plastic ball, and do like some one arm stuff. That always gives me a pretty good squeeze. And then that'll pretty much be it for triceps. I'm sure at the end of that, they'll be fully pumped. There's a dip machine there too, but in all honesty, I don't love it. Just because it's kind of funky. Maybe I'll try it though, because I do like it. It's kind of very touchy-feely of a movement for me. But after triceps get fully pumped, then I'll transition to bis. So really just whatever kind of curl I feel like. I mean, let's list off some that just come to my mind. Dumbbell curls, single arm concentration curls bent over, cable curls, straight bar cable curls, easy bar curls, easy bar preacher curls, dumbbell preacher curls, drag curls, uh, whatever. You get the idea. There's all sorts of fucking curls. And for the most part, as long as your palm is up-ish for most of it, you're hitting your bicep pretty well. You know, notice how I did not say hammer curls. Right? Now that's because I feel like hammer curls are a bit too forearm biased. And if I want bigger forearms, I'll just hit my forearms directly. Okay, this is quite the intersection. But, yeah, maybe actually, you know, fuck it. Maybe I'll throw forearms in at the end of this too. I need to throw forearms into the routine anyway. So this will be full day beating, arms, and forearms. This will be a nice long one. I was gonna record the grocery trip, but it was yeah, no. This will be enough. So after, oh yeah, and only 8 sets of tries and buys this time. I'm trying to lower my volume because I've been doing 11, but I want to see how less feels, because I know it's well, I'm just saying this to me. It's a hard concept to get to freaking wrap my head around, but I'm starting to think in the context of your volume, less and intense is better than more. Because on like a kind of a big scale, I definitely believe that. Because I used to do 25 sets per body part, and then I dropped it to 11. And at the time, I mean, it felt kind of weird, because I was thinking like, okay, I made decent gains on 25 sets. And I mean total working sets for one muscle group in the lift. So if I did 5 different kinds of curls for biceps, I would do 5 sets of each, adding up to 25, if you didn't really catch how that added up. But when I dropped it from that to 11, it felt like a big drop. But I definitely think I made more gains on 11 than 25. So I guess I'm just in the same situation again. Now I can see how 8 feels. Now it's not going to change the way I look because I'm, you know, in a dieting phase right now. So I'm not going to build any new muscle. What's really going to put this different style to the test is when I start the bulk. When I start the bulk, I think I'm going to take the volume drop even further and see just how little I can get away with in the sense of volume. Like, I'm not going to be doing just 2 sets for chest. I'm not going to go that crazy with it, I don't think. But, you know, if I'm fully pumped at 6 sets, I'll call it. So we'll see how that ends up over there. And that'll have tangible effects because, you know, we'll get to see the weight gain progress. Right now we're seeing weight loss progress, but that's not so much to do with the lifting. That's more so to do with, you know, the amount of calories I'm eating, the diet. So let's just pull in and get started. They're doing beach volleyball over there. That's kind of cool. Whoa! Totally just fucked up my tire. Not that bad though. Let's get out of here. All right, so I finished warming up. They've got a gym pin here. Looks pretty cool, but I can't put 2 plates on the stack, or else, like, if you think about it, the weight is sort of counterbalanced, so it makes the machine like kind of bind up. So the whole stack plus a plate is the most weight I'll be able to do. It's not nothing, so I'll sit here and bust out probably just 3 hard sets. No drop sets or anything, just, you know, burn out, including partials. If I can get a song playing, what the hell? All right. Okay. Yeah, 2 more of that.
So this set, opposite fashion of the first one where I was slow and controlled, I'm just trying to burn out and do as many hard reps as possible. More of a throw the weight around style. Okay. All right, I lied. One more. Okay. Okay, that's definitely enough for the straight bar. Let's do, I don't know, something. I'll think about it. What was I going to say? I was about to say something. I forget. Yeah, so, I mean, triceps, it's not a rare occasion that the entire tricep workout gets done on one single cable machine. Now, I should do some overhead stuff, but I don't like overhead rope or overhead dumbbell. So I'm kind of relegated to these right now. But that's beyond the point. So instead of doing the straight bar anymore, I'll do some single arm with just a D handle. And I'm not trying to go crazy with the weight on these. Like those ones with the bar, whole stack plus a plate, I was really trying to push it. But with these sets especially, it's a bit lighter. I'm really trying to squeeze at the bottom and get that burning sensation. But I think, honestly, I might even just do one of these, then change it up. I've only got 4 more sets left. But let's see how the first one feels. All right, yeah, one more. I'm gonna go try out that dip machine now that I think about it. I think just one will be fine. Just freaking one. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay, that felt good, but this machine sucks. Let's finish something else. I was generously allowed to work in because this cable is much smoother than the other one. They lubed them up once. There was one day where every cable was like butter, but not today. But I think this last set of pushdowns should finish off triceps perfectly, and then we can start curls. Okay. Yeah, that's enough. I'm getting more careful about it. That last clip didn't have audio. So what I was saying was, I'll just repeat it all if you didn't hear it. I warmed up with the 20s, the 30s, the 45s, the 60s, and the 70s. Only like 3 reps each because my forearms are already warm from all the pushdowns. My shoulders are warm from doing a warm-up. The only thing that's not warm is the biceps. So I was saying some shit about how I'll do a couple sets with the 70s. I guess that first clip will just be very baroque with no audio. So let's throw this shit around. All right. Okay. Oh my God. Oh. All right. That's enough dumbbell curls. Let's do something else. All right, so I was gonna do those straight bar cable curls again, but I did a feeler rep and it was kind of wrenching my, not my forearm, kind of like my inner elbow just a little bit. Not to the point where I think I'm hurt, but to the point where I don't want to do a movement that kind of has a little pinch to it. So instead of doing the standing double arm with a straight bar, I'll do these sort of inclined seated curls. Now, I'm not doing like a behind the back thing. Really, the seat's just sort of for comfortability and stability. But, you know, I'll start with the right arm first, the weaker bicep, go to failure, and do the same thing on the other side. This is definitely a more so, you know, heavy, throw the weight around kind of set for me. And afterwards, I think some preachers will do me very nicely. One more and I'll do a drop set for the next one. Okay. So that left arm could have done a little more, but I don't want to exceed the right one, the weaker one. Let's do some preachers. Okay, the preacher benches that I want are taken. Should I cry about it? No. No, I should not. I'll just do a different movement. And actually, it kind of inspired me to do something that I haven't done for a while and that I like. So it'll be these, just normal alternating dumbbell curls. But instead of just doing, one rep, whatever, go up halfway, pause it, and then finish off. Definitely in the category of intentionally performed reps, focusing on the squeeze. But one of these will be good, maybe 2. Maybe I'll finish with it if it feels that good. I'll have to find out. Okay. Okay. I couldn't do any more reps with that pause, so I did a couple just normal. That felt good, but not good enough to do another set. Let's find something else. There we go. Back to what I wanted in the first place. I think one set of this. Well, I got a few options here. I could go lighter and stay on the same movement. I could stay the same weight. I don't foresee going any heavier than this. I did one feeler rep. I know this is good. Or I could just fucking do one set and then move on to something else. You know, to an extent, you almost don't know how a set's going to feel until you start doing it. Now, you can have a pretty good idea, but that's kind of why I like my, let's just say, what's the word I'm trying to think of? I don't want to say improvisational because it's based on like how I feel, but you get what I'm saying. Let's just throw this shit around. Come on. Oh, fuck. Okay. All right, I'm going to pick the go lighter method and take these 10s off. One more. I'll do a drop set too, you'll see. Okay. Okay. Oh. Try not to swing on that second part of the set. I gotta recount the clips and find out how many more I have left until I've done my 8. I think I only have one left though. I know I said I didn't like it before, but I'll just go a little bit lighter. You know, I just did a feeler rep. This feels good. So slow, burn out, then go check the pump. Well, okay, not slow, but burn out. Okay, that's enough. Let's go check the pump now. So 8 sets of triceps, followed by 8 sets of biceps, caused to be revealed. Let's take a look. Oh, holy shit. That's a freaky vein already. Not sure it's not even all the way off. So more veins should just kind of creep out of nowhere as I get leaner and leaner. Ideally, ones that I've never even seen before. So let's run through a couple good ones and see how we're looking. Cover that up. Oh my God. Dude, this pump is fucking comparable to the ones where I'm fully carved up and bulked, just by how it fucking feels and looks. That is incredible. Oh my god. Oh. That is fucking badass. Dude, oh, okay, that's new. So on this one, I've always had these ones starting to creep across. But this, let me get a little breath hold to make it pop out more. Holy shit. That is fucking killer. Oh my god. Maybe 8 sets is the way to go. I tell you what, Jesus. I don't even have a topic to discuss right now. I'm just trying to enjoy the pump. Okay, let's run through a few more and then we can get out of here. Well, actually not get out of here, but just go eat the post-workout meal. Oh my goodness. Oh, OGs remember this video. That's so fucking stupid. Dude, that's all I gotta fucking say. Actually, no, I lied. What am I talking about? I'm not even close to done. I've still got forearms and calves. I'm not going to show the whole forearm and calf workout, or this video will be an hour and a half long. But I'll show a couple sets of the bottom of the forearm, the back, then the pump, and a few sets of calves, and then the post-workout top. But I got to hit another double bi right now. Holy shit. Oh my god. I can't express it in words. Let's go do the rest of the workout. Jesus. So I'll be honest with you. I'll be real with you. The main course obviously was arms, but now it's time for the side dishes. Forearms. Now, I mean, I don't need a crazy amount of forearm work. They've clearly got some beef to them. But in a cut, I do like to do them. Well, I like to do everything on a cut, right? That's why I throw shoulders in too after chest. So these are the two basic movements, if I were to say, that built my forearms as a beginner. I mean, just from lifting, they're going to get worked. But early on, it was sitting here with a heavy one, hanging it off a bench, curls like this. Then you grab a lighter one, hang it off your leg like this, and you just burn out. Now, when you're doing it this way, there's a lot of muscle in here. You can load a lot of weight. Like, don't be afraid to grab a 40, a 30, whatever, like something actually heavy and really burn out. Right? Your forearms are fucking strong, man. You can hold on to, if you're deadlifting, you're holding on to 405 with just your bare hands. But the back of your forearm, which is making your fingers extend like that, it's not a muscle that needs a lot of like strength. So just the 15s, burn it out. Should add a little bit of mass to the back. So, I mean, I'm going to sit here for 8 sets. I'm not going to record them all. I'll probably walk around and talk in between, but just as a little bit of a, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Whatever. You get it. And the point isn't really failure. Honestly, if you get a hardcore forearm pump, you stimulated them good. I'm really going for that burning sensation. And for the back, I'm only using 15. Okay. All right. So supersetting them, doing that set of curls does not affect your strength for the reverse curls. So you may as well. But don't be afraid of getting bored. I'm going to sit here for another probably 15, 20 minutes. Wait a minute, let my fucking forearms recover just a touch, and then do that same thing 7 more times. And then we can go check the forearm pump. So calves is going to be very similar to forearms in that I'm just going to sit right fucking here for 8 sets. Now, I don't like doing both legs at once because for me, I think my calves have like different insertions or different angles or something because I'll always feel my right one working more. So instead of doing both at once and having that kind of imbalance, I'll just do, my 20 reps on the right leg, then do 20 reps on the left, sit for a few minutes and do it again. So I'll just show the one and get to the pump, and then we can finally get out of here. I've been here forever. Okay. All right. So I've been on a little bit of a slow and controlled kick for the calf raises, but sometimes I like kind of just pumping them out. As long as I finish the calf workout with a calf pump, I feel satisfied. So let's cut to the calf pump check, and then get in the car, and then get to whatever I eat after this. Let's get a real nice close-up of the calves before we get out of here. What are we thinking? Have they got something going on? They feel fucking pumped. Like they're kind of burning. Oh, yeah. The leaner we get, the better. Let's get out of here. I thought I forgot that I packed food because I wanted a little change of scenery. It's no fun if I'm just sitting in my kitchen every clip that I'm eating. So what got packed? Well, just like normal, 25 grams of cluster dextrin, 25 grams of the cookies and cream protein powder. Let's just get this out of the way. I don't think I needed that much water. Probably did not need that much water. And then we're doing a little bit of a repeat. I just I just ended up making 3 more of those little peanut butter sandwiches with the syrup. So let me make sure I know what the macros are. I just added them all up. There we go. Yep. So in these little sandwiches with the keto bread, plus the shake with the cluster dextrin, 36 grams of carbs, 13 grams of fat, 45 grams of protein. So right now I'm at 191 of protein, 40 of fat, and 117 of carbs. So when I get home, I get to eat kind of a hearty meal. I've still got 1,000 calories left. But until then, I guess I can chill right here and slam these. So that pump was fucking diabolical. Like, whoa. And I'm as light as I've ever been for this, well, for the considerable amount of time. I mean, 233. That is much less than 245, but the pump was still fucking gnarly. I'm sure I'll get tired of these eventually, but they're still hitting pretty hard. But yeah, I mean, I just had that fucking, I don't know. I didn't even drink like an insane amount of water today either. Well, I don't know. I guess I did. I filled up the jug with like a little electrolyte pack, and I made sure to drink like half of it, so like about a liter before the cardio, and then a full liter after. When you're cutting down your hydration, and that's not just water, I'm talking about water and electrolytes, that's definitely going to determine how good the lift is. Because sure, I mean, I could come in here with like 500 calories totals eaten so far in the day, but that won't inherently mean I'm going to have a bad lift. If I'm like dehydrated, I've had no electrolytes, plus maybe I didn't get a ton of sleep, that's what's really going to, affect my lift in a dieting context. But, the food, I'm pretty much used to the 2,500 calories right now. But it also helps that, like I was saying before, I'm trying to eat foods that are very filling, but don't have like, well, they have less calories than I would imagine them to have, if you get what I'm saying, I could eat the same little stack of sandwiches with peanut butter, with the normal style bread and the normal peanut butter, and it would be 1,000 calories. But instead, 300. So I'm sure the more of these I'll do, I'll add some other little tricks. Like I was kind of hinting at this before, I've got a pretty good little mix to make these protein powder pancakes. It's like, I forget the ratio. It's like 2 scoops of protein, 2 egg whites, some baking powder. You got to blend it. I forget the exact recipe. I had it down pretty good for a while. And those are pretty good. Honestly, fresh off the pan, it's not that unenjoyable. It's like pretty good. But, but if you let it get cold, it just turns into kind of a rubbery. It's not. That's something you got to eat it right then. But the more curious you are with your food, the more you'll be able to find little things and tips and whatever tricks that are going to work for you. Now, I won't lie, it kind of requires the prerequisite that you're into counting your calories, tracking everything. You got a food scale on the counter, and you actually use it. That's the only thing that I've had. That's the only thing where I see like someone make a video about me, and they said they didn't think I used my food scale. I took that one to heart. Dude, I use the food scale every day of my fucking life. At least when I have to use foods where I have to measure out the quantities. Because for prepackaged stuff, it's super easy. All you have to do is read it off the back of the label. I'm sure it seems like a lot of work to count your calories, but it's honestly only a couple of seconds. And the better you get at it, or well, let's just say the longer you do it, the better you'll get at it. And it's just going to become second nature. I mean, whether it's a blessing or a curse, I kind of feel weird eating food without tracking the macros now, you know? So I'm not just going to sit here. I'm probably just going to go back and, talk to some guys I know down there while I finish these last 2 sandwiches. And then let's cut to, I guess we don't really need a car talk. Do you want one anyway? All right, okay. Let's get in the car. All right, my mic is near death. I may have to cut the clip short. Actually, no, I can just unplug. Okay, we're good. Not a problem. So, little post-workout meal eaten. It was about 500 calories. So, I've got 1,500 at my freaking... Wait, no. I've got 1,000 at my disposal. So, I need another 60 grams of protein. That is 100% going to happen. But with the fats and the carbs, I can get a little bit funky with it. Like, let's say it's at the end of the night and I've only eaten 40 grams of fat. It would pretty much be fine, in my opinion, to go over the carb limit with another 20 grams of carbs. Right? 1 gram of carbs is worth 4 calories and 1 gram of fat is worth 9. So I want to hit the protein, and I want the rest of my fats and carbs to add up to that 2,500 calorie level. So if I eat a little bit more fat one day and a little less carbs, or vice versa, it's really not too big of a determinant, because those two, food macros are, for energy. Obviously, I want to kind of bias carbs, because carbs are going to make you feel good in your lift. If I had fucking 150 grams of fat before a lift, I probably wouldn't feel particularly energized or pumped, because it would have to go through a little bit more of a process to get turned into, glycogen for your muscles. That's actually the whole point of keto. Like, if you ever hear about keto, totally off topic, whatever, just kind of rambling at this point. That's, what do they call it? Gluconeogenesis? Yeah. Yeah, there we go. We're getting real technical. So the premise with keto is you don't eat any carbs, or you eat very little, such that, for your body to have some carbs as a fuel source, because it does need them. That's what your brain runs on. For the most part, I think, don't quote me, it turns carbs into fats. So, the carbs and the fats, that's the energy source. Ideally, you don't want to be burning protein as your energy source. You want to hold on to all your protein, right? So, yeah, so, if I do a little more fat and a little less carbs, or a little more carbs and a little less fat, as long as the end calories adds up to 2,500, then that was a successful day. So, yeah, I don't know. I wonder what got me with those straight bar cable curls. They were kind of fucking pinching my right, not really my, like, it's not my bicep tendon. It was kind of just upper edge of the pit of my arms. I bet it was just because I haven't done that movement before since that was the first time I did it for the most part in the last arm day. So maybe I was kind of stressed something that I hadn't, stressed before. That's one thing I definitely take into consideration is, if you're doing a movement that you've never done or like a chest press you've never done, or you're at a gym where the dumbbells are different, the benches are different, it's probably going to be in your best interest to maybe, you know, chill out. Maybe don't just jump straight into your heaviest shit because, even though it's basically the same movement, it could still be a little bit of a different stimulus and you could hurt yourself. That happened to me. I was doing a bench with the dumbbells at this one gym, and I wasn't used to how wide the bench pads were. That's my excuse. And something about it like tweaked my shoulder. Not a brutal tweaking, but slightly. There we go. Had to pull up the directions. I got a little bit turned around from my destination. But all in all, that was a fucking insane arm day. And, 3 sets less than I would have normally done. So, I'm starting to think this lower volume intense workouts could be the ticket. I've kind of fucking sound like a broken record at this point saying this, but it's still true. I feel like a lot of people just do a ton of fluff work. Like, if I see a dude doing a set and he puts the weight down and I know he legitimately had 5 more reps, I don't understand it, man. Like, do you just not want it? If that's true, then whatever, dude. Do a set of RPE 3. But for the most part, I think going hard on all your sets, cutting or bulking or maintaining, whatever, it's only gonna have benefits. As long as you don't go so hard you fucking hurt yourself. But you definitely want to push it. Let's be honest. So I'm yeah, I'm relapsing right now. We're going to fucking Wendy's. I'm gonna pay for it tomorrow because my insides do not like it. But everything up here, the mouth, brain, everything, the Wendy's spicy chicken has a fucking hold on me. So this is going to be about 25 grams of protein, 15 grams of fat, and about 50-ish grams of carbs. All within my fucking macros for the day, man. Tracking your calories is the method. I can fucking guarantee it.
Hi, how can I help you?
Hey, can I just get a spicy chicken sandwich?
Anything else?
That'll be it.
Alrighty, it's going to be $5.49 first, and thank you.
Thanks. All right, so let's cut back to the crib, eat my little treat, and then we'll have one more little meal before bed, and we're done. Now that I'm thinking about it, that might not have been the best point when I was talking about how I weigh everything, because today's the first day I came back from my actual family's house for the weekend, and I forgot the kitchen scale at home, so I didn't weigh anything today. But I did measure it out. I just had to use a little bit more of a roundabout method. So I already plugged in the macros of the sandwich, but now I got to throw in 2 cups of this Carb Master chocolate milk. And luckily my shaker has little increments. So maybe it'll be 10 or so milliliters off. It's close enough. So 2 cups of this adds up to, let's do some quick math here. It's 14 grams of carbs and 22 grams of protein. So with this, my protein's almost maxed out.
I've only got like 12 left. Maybe I'll have a little more later. I guess you'll see. But I've still got 330 calories left. So if you're concerned about the sourcing of protein, because there was a considerable amount that just came from that, the peanut butter powder. I remember looking some stuff up about how like the protein in breads and the protein in peanuts sort of like combine. So when I was adding up all these macros, I just kind of count the bread proteins as negligible. So it's protein from bread. It's not a complete protein, but the bread plus the peanut butter, I think it kind of blends together. There's probably more research that could be done for me, but whatever. I think the protein is still doing a little something in the system, definitely enough to maintain the muscle I built. So now I just get to sit here and chill. With all the driving, this kind of turned into, well, it's kind of morphed from a full day of eating just to a full day of everything, like a day in the life. I don't really have anything to do today, though, so it's not really the most interesting day in the life. Almost. One second. I'm sure when I do another one of these soonish, I'll do it on a day where I actually go to class, and maybe I'll just like pack some stuff and sit in the study room, because I've definitely got more meals than this at my disposal when I think about what I want to eat on a cut. A little bit, a little bit repetitive with those peanut butter sandwiches, and then obviously a fucking Wendy's chicken, whatever. Not the most interesting method. But I'm serious. Macros, calories in, out, calories in, out, calories in, calories out. That is the method which is going to allow you to change the way your body looks more effective than anything else. When people talk about, I can't lose weight. I'm naturally big boned. We hear that a ton. I mean, I'm not trying to hate. I'm literally just saying, if you're the same weight for a continuous period of time, that just means you're eating at a calorie maintenance level. So if you want to lose weight, you got to eat less food or burn more energy throughout the day. So, the way I look at it, on a bulk and on a cut, I mean, the cut gets a little bit more, let's just say, conventional. Like that breakfast, egg whites and barbecue sauce, that's pretty bodybuilder-esque. Honestly, that was the only meal I had like that. So, I mean, food's food. You're looking at a Wendy's chicken, right? But through my eyes, like pretend to, you get what I'm saying, 50 grams of carbs, 15 grams of fat, and 25 grams of protein. So, in terms of calories, this would be the same as if I were to eat 25 grams of carbs, 25 grams of protein worth of like cubed chicken with some, buffalo sauce added onto it, let's say 15 grams of fat worth, and then 50 grams of rice on the side. Fucking whether it's 50 grams of protein from pasta or 50 grams of carbs from pasta or 50 grams of carbs from like a pack of ramen, the energy inside of those fucking carbs is the same. So that's kind of been my outlook on the matter, and it definitely seems to allow me to change the way my body's composed. So at the end of the day, that's the point. Like, on a bulk, obviously, if I felt like shit, and I thought that it was because I was eating so much like processed foods and sugars and whatever, then maybe I'd chill out on it. But if I'm feeling good, I'm feeling pumped, walking around gaining some weight, and that's all good for me. So let's save the end talk for the next meal, but I'm gonna finish the sandwich, drink the little chocolate milk, put my clothes in the laundry. I told myself I was going to clean the kitchen today. I did not. Maybe tomorrow. But let's cut to the last meal, and this is almost the end, man. This was a fucking long one. I'll be real with you, some calories didn't get recorded, but you didn't really fucking miss anything. All I did was weigh out or measure out another cup of the freaking Carb Master chocolate milk and have a drink before I went in the shower and got my laundry going. So, final meal. Let's just look over the freaking whole day's macros. But final meal, a pack of not just like the Maruchan kind of orange looking ramen. Like that's fine, I like it, but a little more pricey. A little more pricey. You gotta get the Nissan Rao. That's where it's at. But let's get a little more specific. It's not just a bowl of ramen. It's 7 grams of fat, 66 grams of carbs, 8 grams of protein. In all the time that I've been dieting and I've gotten pretty lean, I never really track. Like I track everything, but I don't track the protein from non-dedicated protein sources. Like, every time I eat those live, I'm looking at the name of it now, live carb smart bread, the keto bread, whatever. I mean, it's like it says 3 grams of protein, but I mean, come on, let's be real. You're not gonna get yoked eating fucking bread protein, right? We need some meats, some dairy products, some fish, some eggs, things like that. So I'm not going to count the 8 grams from this. And then I plugged in the 7 grams of fat, but this thing comes with a fucking little oil packet. I don't care for it. It kind of has a weird taste. So even though I plugged in the 7, maybe that's all the 7 grams of fat right there. But total for the day, the finale, once I finish this bowl, 249 grams of protein, 62 grams of fat, and 254 grams of carbs. So I guess I went slightly over the goal of 2,500, 2,570. Fuck. Not really. Come on. As long as you're bouncing around right there, one day of a little over, it's not going to hurt you. Now, if you got one day where you're way over, like, I don't foresee it happening, but let's say I finish this bowl, I go to bed, and then I come back downstairs and I start just eating everything in sight. I eat for another 2,500 calories, cheat meal style. That's what I really call cheating on your diet, when you have that fucking kind of a binge day. Then, tomorrow, I'm probably going to fucking weigh an extra, 2 pounds, 3 pounds. Just because, all those calories I just ate are going to fill me back up. Because right now I'm in a very flat state. Like muscularly, my intramuscular glycogen, it's relatively depleted. So for me to have one day to like just eat, honestly, just whatever I want, all that day is really going to do is, fill up my glycogen stores. I'm not just going to turn all that food into fat, but then you have to get on track again. And for the next few days, you're going to gradually deplete those glycogen stores until you're back at your, low level where you're actually burning fat. So, one seriously bad day if you're trying to trim down every so often probably won't hurt you too bad. But when you have a couple days in a row, that's shit's going to start to add up. Then you're really just making the opposite of progress. You're regressing, right? You're putting more fat tissue onto your frame. So not only do you have to be diligent about tracking your macros, you got to stay on that calorie limit, at least such that the average calories that you had for the week is in your deficit level. Because let's think about this. I could do 2 days of 2,000 calories, but if I did, the next 2 days of like 6,000, then those 2 days didn't mean shit, because it all balances out to like, what does that balance out to? Like 4,500? I think we get the basic gist. Honestly, overall, I'm sure your impression of the diet is I'm eating and I'm just eating less. So there's tips and tricks to make it a bit easier to eat in a calorie deficit, like the little peanut butter sandwiches, the eggs with a sweet barbecue sauce on it with low sugar, no sugar added. I'm trying not to drink too many calories. The chocolate milk, I guess that's kind of a caveat, just because, I kind of feel full after I drink some of that chocolate milk. So it's not like I'm completely wasting away calories by drinking you know, like a Sprite or something. So that's all I got, man. I already took the vitamins. I'm gonna go to bed after this, 2570. The pump was insane. Those are pretty much my three main goals for the day on the cut. So that's perfect. So I'll sit here, mess with this, and then I'm not gonna record. Obviously, this is the end, but I'm thinking for breakfast, I got a top round steak. It's like, said 0.8 ounces. So probably if I cook up the whole thing, it'll be about, I think, 70 grams of protein. I'll look it up and weigh it. I'm going to get a food scale tomorrow again, too. But I think I'll make some little steak sandwiches where, you know, cook up the steak, whatever, salt, pepper, avocado oil so it doesn't smoke up. And you get the deal. Cut it into kind of, you know, patty-ish shapes. Throw it onto those keto buns and a slap of American cheese. It's badass. That was my breakfast a couple days ago. So main point that I'm really trying to fucking, you know, drive into you, the viewer, is if you're trying to lose body fat, the only thing that's stopping you is whether or not you can eat in a calorie deficit. And I don't care what food you eat, you just have to be in a deficit to burn body fat. And if you want to gain weight, you have to eat in a surplus. Now, obviously, when you add, you know, bodybuilding, lifting, training, when you're dieting down, you're going to maintain some muscle. Well, not some muscle, you're going to maintain the muscle that you have in your frame. And when you're bulking up, you know, combining the lifting and the surplus, you should gain muscle. You'll gain a little bit of body fat. So when I look at that combination of circumstances, that's why doing like a big bulk and then a short cut just makes sense to me. You know, I've been plotting my weight for the last, like, you know, 2 years or so since I've been bulking. And it's like bulk up to here, cut down to here. And this is the starting level. So after that little bulk and cut, I'm heavier than I was before. I've got more muscle on my frame, and I just repeat the process. Now, I've also main gained for even longer than that. Because in high school, you know, started off 160-ish, and I was just making sure to hit my protein and lift hard. And I got up to like my heaviest weight in like high school when I was doing diving too. So I was on the diving team freshman year here. I was about 200, but you know, lean. You know, I did one cut one summer. I was a pretty freaky 180. So a little bit of details there. So again, 233 this morning. It's kind of late, so I may be slightly heavier tomorrow, just because I may still have some of this in my system. But you know, don't focus too much on the day-to-day weight changes. If you're tracking your stuff and you're trying to, you know, see a pattern, a trend line, but week to week, you should definitely start to see something going on. And if you're not seeing any changes on the scale, then this is your issue. I can guarantee it. So tomorrow I got a fucking ton of class, man. I better get some sleep. So I'll see you next time.